All right, so welcome back, everybody. For this deep dive, we're going to take a look at this Champions League match. Slovan Bratislava is taking on AC Milan Tuesday.
Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, and at first glance, you see Slovan Bratislava, they're the underdog at home, taking on the Italian Giants. But I think this one's going to be a lot more interesting than people think.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that. A lot more to this match than meets the eye. I think
Right.
tactically there could be some surprises.
Yeah, so let's start with Slovan Bratislava. They're sitting at 0 wins so far in the group stage. And their defense has been, well, let's just say they've been generous. At least 2 goals in each of their last 5 Champions League matches.
Yeah, their midfield hasn't done them any favors either.
No, not at all. But then again, their home crowd is absolutely electric. So do you think that will play a factor?
Well, it definitely could, Bratislava fans are known to bring the energy. But they gotta give the fans something to cheer about. And that means getting in Milan's way early,
Yeah.
especially in the midfield.
So it's not just about feeding off the crowd. It's about giving them something to feed off of.
Right, exactly. And that's where things get interesting. Bratislava's got some players that can attack, especially on the counter. Vladimir Weiss Jr., he's the guy to watch there.
Yeah, he's got the speed, definitely has that creativity. And if Milan's high defensive line leaves any gaps.
Oh, he's going to find them.
Oh, yeah. Now, Milan, 7-time Champions League winners, loaded with talent. You got Rafael Leão and Christian Pulisic. But their away form has been a little all over the place.
Yeah, a bit inconsistent for sure. One week they're brilliant, the next week they're, well, not so brilliant. And they've shown some real weaknesses when teams press them high up the pitch.
Makes them make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, I think the bigger problem is what happens when they lose the ball in attack. That transition back to defense, it can be shaky,
Yeah.
especially against teams with some speed up front.
Well, Bratislava's got that in Weiss Jr. He could really cause some trouble.
He's the guy to watch for sure. Milan's midfielders are going to have their hands full, especially Redi Krunic.
Yeah, that Krunic-Weiss Jr. matchup, that's going to be fun to watch. It's not even just about who's got more skill. It's about who controls that part of the pitch, who sets the pace.
Exactly. And don't forget about set pieces. Both teams have looked a little shaky defending them.
Oh, yeah, set pieces. Always got to watch out for those. You never know.
Never know. And Bratislava, they've got the size and they've got the players who can really make Milan pay from those dead ball situations, especially in the air.
Yeah, set pieces, they can make heroes out of anyone. Speaking of heroes, I want to get your take on some of the players you think are going to be difference makers in this match. For Bratislava, who you got?
I mean, we got to go with Weiss Jr. again, right?
Yeah.
He can dribble, he can pass, and he takes most of their free kicks. If Bratislava scores, he's probably going to have something to do with it.
So he's the guy for Bratislava. What about Milan?
Well, Leon, he's obviously dangerous. He can score goals and he's fast. But I'm going to go with Mike Mignon, their goalkeeper. He's been incredible, making big saves, keeps things calm at the back. Against a team like Bratislava that wants to counterattack a goalkeeper who can read the play like Mignon. That's going to be huge.
That's a great point. We always talk about the goal scorers, but a great keeper can be just as important, especially in a game where Milan's probably going to have most of the possession.
Right, exactly. And they're going to need him to make some big plays. So we've got this tactical battle shaping up, key players to watch, and a crowd that can really make a difference.
All the ingredients for a great match.
It really is. And I think this is a chance for Bratislava to make a statement. It's not just about winning. It's about proving that they belong at this level.
All right, so I've set the scene. What are Bratislava's chances here? Realistically.
Statistically, it's tough. Milan averages 1.5 goals a game in the Champions League. Bratislava gives up 2. But do you think those stats tell the whole story?
I don't know. I think Milan might overlook Bratislava just a little bit. They've got that big match against Dortmund coming up, and that could be Bratislava's chance.
That's what Bratislava needs, right? Milan looking past them, thinking about Dortmund. Because if they do that, even just a little Bratislava can make them pay.
Oh, yeah, especially with a guy like Weiss Jr. running the show.
Exactly.
I mean, imagine this, right? Early goal for Bratislava, the crowd goes wild, and suddenly Milan's the one playing catch-up.
It could happen.
It could totally flip the script.
And that's when the mental part of the game kicks in. Early goal, crowd's going crazy. Milan feels the pressure, and we've seen them fold under pressure before, especially on the road.
Yeah, so what would a win look like for Bratislava tactically? What do they need to do?
They got to play tight defensively, don't let Milan through the middle, and then when they get their chance, hit them hard and fast on the break. They can't get caught up trying to play Milan's way, all that possession stuff.
So pick your spots, be efficient. Sounds like they're going to need a perfect game.
Pretty much, yeah. Everybody from the keeper to the strikers, they got to be on top of their game. But we've seen underdogs pull off miracles before in the Champions League.
Yeah, that's what makes it so great.
Anything can happen.
And that's what makes this match so interesting. Even if Bratislava doesn't win, if they can make it a close game,
Yeah.
a real fight, give their fans something to be proud of.
Right. Even a loss can be a good thing for a team like Bratislava. Builds confidence. Shows them what they can do when they're playing their best.
Well, okay, so let's look at the bigger picture. What
Okay.
happens if Milan wins?
Sets them up nice for Dortmund. 3 points here would be massive, especially with the games they got left.
Makes those last couple matches a lot easier.
For sure, they can't afford to drop points. And a big win against Bratislava sends a message.
And what about Bratislava? I mean, they're probably not going to make it out of the group stage.
But a good result here gives them momentum going into that last match against PSG.
Yeah, even a good loss against a team like PSG, that could be a positive.
Absolutely. Finish strong. Build some momentum. Okay, so we've talked tactics, key players. What do you think? Can Bratislava win this thing? Really?
Give me a straight answer.
It's a long shot, no doubt. But we've been saying it all along. Anything's possible.
Especially in football.
Especially in football. Early goal, lock down Milan's attack, get the crowd going. I think they could make it really interesting.
Okay, so there's a chance.
Yep.
Slim chance. But what's your prediction? What's the score going to be?
Milan's got the talent, so I think they're going to win. I'm going with a 2-1 Milan, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bratislava gets a late goal to make it exciting.
2-1 Milan, but Bratislava keeps it close. Love it. Now, what about those big games coming up? Milan versus Dortmund. That's going to be huge.
That one could decide the whole group. Dortmund's a tough team, and whoever wins that one might end up with an easier path to the final.
Makes this match against Bratislava even more important for Milan. They got to keep the momentum going. Can't afford any setbacks.
Exactly right. And for Bratislava, that match against PSG in Paris,
That's going to be a test.
it's a huge challenge. But it's also a chance.
And chance to go up against one of the best teams in the world. Show what they've learned and, hey, maybe pull off another upset on the biggest stage.
The Champions League, that's what it's all about. You just never know.
Okay, so what's the one thing you want our listener to remember?
This match, Bratislava against Milan. It's way more than just a David versus Goliath story. There's so much going on. Tactics, underdogs, big implications.
It's a reminder that in football, you can never predict what's going to happen. And that's why we love it. It's a match with a little bit of everything. And you've given everyone a lot to think about before Tuesday. Anything else? Any final thoughts for the listener before we go?
I think the real question is, how does Bratislava pull this off? Like, if they win, what's the key? Is it a goal early on that just changes everything? Or did they just completely shut down Milan's attack? Or maybe Weiss Jr. just has a game for the ages.
Yeah, it's a good question. And it makes you really think about all the different things that can happen in a match.
Right. It's not just about who wins or loses. It's about how they do it.
So what should people be watching for specifically? What are some of the key things you're going to be looking at?
The midfield battle, obviously. How are Krunic and the rest of Milan's guys going to deal with Weiss Jr.? Do they try to man-mark him, double-team him, or just try to shut down his passing lanes? That's going to be interesting.
Okay, so midfield battle. Anything else?
Bratislava's defense. How are they going to line up? Sit back and wait for Milan to make a mistake? Or are they going to try to pressure them? That's going to have a big impact on the whole game.
And then, of course, we've got the set pieces. Could be a big opportunity for Bratislava.
Right. Especially if Milan doesn't defend them well.
Yeah. And what about if Milan gives up a goal early? How do you think they'll react?
I mean, will they stay calm or will they start to panic? That's what I'm going to be watching for. Can they handle the pressure? Especially in front of that crowd.
See, this is why we love the Champions League. You just never know.
Never a dull moment.
Well, that about wraps it up for our deep dive into the Slovan Bratislava versus AC Milan match. We covered the tactics, the key players, and what this game could mean for both teams.
It's going to be an exciting one for sure.
All right, so to everyone listening, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the match, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.